Let me just tell you the way I define infrastructure. One of my definitions is the things you just need to get where you need to go.
The Connecticut Supreme Court taking up the question if women should be able to have their own workout areas at gyms or if it's considered discrimination. The case could have a wide-ranging impact on anti-discrimination laws.
Like, make them feel good about it, but not in like a weird way. Just be like, hey, I just want to let you know, I started working out. I think you're really bomb. Don't say anything like, oh, you're so hot.
And if they're down, they're down.
Just be like, I think you're so bomb and you're killing it. Like, take my number if you want. Text me later.
I no longer have grandparents due to this virus because of people like you who don't want to wear a mask in the store. It's ridiculous.
Alice, I think you're so bomb.
Thanks, honey. I think you're a bomb, too.
What else did she say? Oh, are you down?
If she's down, she's
right.
down.
If you're down, you're down. If not, then I don't. Okay. I think you're so bomb. Wait a second. Isn't that a bit of like a give? I think you're so bomb is like a really like the nuclear option of pining for somebody, right? Wouldn't you try to be a little more subtle?
I don't know.
Like I saw you working out. I think you're so bomb. I'm trying that today. I got my gym pass today. My gym membership. I was going to go today, but now we've got all sorts of millions of things, including baseball games and trips to stores to replace equipment that our kids have either buried in a time capsule somewhere or it has been abducted by aliens. And you've got to get a wardrobe. Alice has a
job interview.
Yeah, I didn't want to. I tried to put it in code just in case the warehouse people are monitor us. And then 1,000 other things. I didn't get to go to the gym and tell any of the chicks that they're a bomb.
Poor you.
Could you imagine if I saw a 23-year-old girl like?
I think you would probably lose your gym membership if you started going around the gym telling girls you thought they were bomb.
I don't think I would finish the final B on bomb before I would be shown the door and I would be revoked. Yeah. There's a way they do it. You know what they don't tell you? Oh, I should. Let me start from the very beginning. It's a very good place to start.
Okay, fine. I'll laugh at that. Go ahead, honey.
Wouldn't kill you to take it from where I left it, Alice. Da, 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 da,
Can you-
da, da.
You can just, yeah. It's
Just what?
Just keep going with whatever you were going to say.
All right, Connecticut, no, it's not Massachusetts, is it? Connecticut's its own state, Alice. One of the first 13 colonies, as a matter of fact.
Off
Did you know
to a great start here.
Did you know what? You know that? Do you know what was invented in Connecticut?
No, I don't know.
Connect 4.
I don't believe you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is what's happening in Connecticut, home of Connect 4. These two dudes tried to use a gym a little bit ago. They're in the gym, the normal part of the gym, the integrated co-ed part of the gym. It's co-ed, right? If it's two.
Yeah.
Okay. And all the good equipment was taken. So then they see the women's part of the gym, and they say, screw this, we'll just go use that equipment. But then the gym gods said, no, and 86 these dudes. And so they were very, very angry. And so they sued, and they want free gym rights for men everywhere. And so now this case is in currently the Connecticut Supreme Court, and final arguments were made yesterday. I talked to the lawyer today. So what's at stake here is if these guys win, that any undelineated space in law currently, like changing stations, dressing rooms, any other place, bathrooms it wouldn't include, but just about any other place where women may be naked, partly or somewhat or completely, men would be allowed to use now completely, including some locker rooms, some depending.
Okay.
So that could be a problem. Beach, a good example is beach shower rooms.
Okay.
And this is not a good thing. And as I said in my Substack, which you just published,
released just now. Yep.
This is a bad idea. I mean, there's two ways to look at this. One, for equal protection under the law, then by definition, the men probably should have access to what the women have access to, because the women have access to what the men have access to, generally. Right. But in reality, we live in a world here where you can't have this. It's no good. So, but unfortunately, in Connecticut, it's the state that's the
state Supreme Court.
Yes, but so the state is the one, protesting. It's the state representing these men.
Oh, wow.
Right. So the state it's the Equal Rights Division or whatever it is of the state that has taken this case up to the Supreme Court. And so in an odd system, or maybe this is because they're worried about intersection with trans and whatever.
Probably. Yeah.
So now the arguing is very interesting because it has to do with they're arguing, well, what do we do about lesbians? Who lesbians might want to might ogle other women as well, but I
don't think it's the same.
Well, okay, you're right, it's not. But it was one of the arguments made. But why don't you think it's the same?
For one thing, there just aren't as many lesbians. So just purely in terms of numbers, having a space that reduces like 99% of the ogling is, a giant step in the right direction. But secondly, like women just aren't wired the same way men are, where they're like that.
Right. So, and that was one of the defenses made is that I had a caller today on WTIC call and say, well, what if does that mean women have to get their own swimming pool? And so the reason not is because women don't have to get their own swimming pool or area on the beach because it's more even numbers in those areas.
Right.
Health clubs tend to be way predominantly men and to women. And also in the case of lesbians, the state cannot make a determination, essentially. I am butchering this. Your sister the lawyer should be talking, but the state can't make a determination on who is or isn't a lesbian in a club.
Right.
Whereas,
although there's non-discrimination things about sexual orientation in law, but
we know practically lesbians aren't the problem.
Right.
Due
no,
to
it's
the problem.
not. I mean, not that you couldn't have a one-off, like really annoying pervy lesbian out there. I'm sure it exists somewhere, but that's generally not people that are causing problems for women. Like 99% of it is men.
So
it's just the way it is.
Yes,
I mean,
it is just the way it is. And
men and women are not wired the same way. Like women are generally more respectful of other women than men are. Men are an invasive virus that comes in and bothers women. It's how you are.
In a health club, you have women wearing extremely form-fitting clothes, doing convulsing, etc.
Convulsing.
No, we're not convulsing, but whatever they are.
Right.
Moving in ways that are very pleasing to men. On the right person, a stair climber in yoga pants is a winner.
And it's also a space where women, that's also true in the club when you go out at night, but it's a space where women are trying to do something.
Right.
And they're not doing it, even though it is, according to you, pleasing to men. I would not know. But it's not intentionally designed to be pleasing to men. They're trying to do something else. And if it's pleasing to men, that's just a side effect of the whole thing.
Right.
It's not, they're trying to get a workout in, not be eye candy at that moment in time. So it's annoying. So my mom goes to a women's only gym.
Okay.
Not as full disclosure. So I think that there is a place for it, and I think that it's a totally justified need in society for women to have spaces where sometimes men don't always have to bother them.
Right. And and I will even say, and I feel like such a sellout to guys because I'm as
because you want to be allowed in the women's only section of the gym.
Well, because I don't have these hang-ups that mortal men have, obviously,
okay,
Alice. I don't know to objectify. I don't notice.
You
the
forgot
female
to
form.
turn on your pink Himalayan salt lamps. Speaking of you not having that.
But anyway, so in the Substack today, I talk about in 1995, in an apartment in Brighton, a group of fellas was there.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my friend John, who will listen to this, will remember this moment, I'm sure, and a couple of other friends. I don't consider them friends after they did this, though.
Oh,
so
obviously.
they're my former friends since 1995. So, sitting in this apartment, probably drinking beer, watching MTV, into 1995, and one of the guys, I think it was John, as a matter of fact, yells out of nowhere, "Turn the bleeping lights off! Turn the bleeping lights off!" In a desperate, as if the lights were attached to plastic explosives and it was about to go off. It was desperately said. And the moment he finished saying it, my other friend dove across the room and killed the lights. So the room was dark. And then suddenly these guys, not me, of course, these guys suddenly crowded around the window and had identified what they thought was a woman across the way, a co-ed, because we were all 21 at the time or whatever, and like in some state of undress. Either getting dressed or not getting dressed, or looks like getting dressed, or could have had I don't know. I don't recall the person anyway. And so they were in voyeuristic creep positions.
Great.
As young men looking across to see, you never know. One woman gets undressed and another young co-ed walks in, and then they start kissing, and then the stuff that happens all the time. At that point, all you had was the stories that Penthouse would print, so anything could happen. So nothing did happen, or else that the day would have been more memorable. But the point is that guys are dogs, which is what the Substack says. And guys are wired. Like, there was no training. Those guys didn't train and go through exercises. Guys, if we see a woman in the building next door, a co-ed next building next door.
It wouldn't surprise me, honestly, if they did.
But no, because they all knew what to do, because guys are dirty, they're hornballs at that age and whatever. So that's something that's there. So we don't have to say, it's not fair. And I had some people say this today. It's not fair to label every man in a gym as a dog, and that's unfair. No guy's feeling is hurt from being labeled like that. He either has been guilty of it in the past, so he's got priors, so he knows, that maybe it doesn't. I wasn't doing anything. Or he is currently one of those guys. Especially if you're a young guy, single guy, definitely. Once you get married, once you have a serious girlfriend or get married, generally, if you're interested in self-preservation, you learn to not see what's around you. It's better for you, better for everybody. So, but listen to this. So, the Chief Justice there named Robinson, Chief Justice Robinson of the Connecticut Supreme Court. I thought this was so interesting because a couple of these justices, this is as cultural as it is legal. So the questions they had, they sound like they should be on this podcast, asking layman questions. So this is the Chief Justice.
But I'm having a problem where it talks about sex and discriminating based, and some discrimination is okay, but sex discriminating using this thing called sex or using this thing called gender, and I'm not sure what it is.
I'm not sure what it is.
Right. I think that's interesting. Like, well, either doesn't know what gender is because what is it anymore? Right. Exactly. And so now what is it? What is the entity? What is the element now in legal terms?
Yeah.
It's just odd.
Concepts of objectification and self-objectification. What gives rise to these concepts for women is simply exercising in the presence of men.
And I agree with that. I think that's that's the attorney, the defense attorney, essentially, the attorney representing the gyms.
Right.
Saying, really just being there, a form in front of the man, being ogled at, and as Colbert would do with Obama, drinking her in, is what it is. So this is the Justice Christine Keller, and she's got to be a conservative justice. This is her take on it.
This, to me, is doing the same thing to men in the sense that it's sending a signal to men that you aren't to be trusted. None of you are to be trusted. So we're all going to hide from you because you're going to objectify us and you're going to, in other words, it's exaggerating some kind of propensity or weaker trait in men the way we used to be excluded for the same ground, on the same grounds. Am I wrong?
Not at all, Your Honor.
But that's not. I mean, I'm now to the left of her because she's saying, we're treating men we're othering men now, suggesting that they can't contain themselves, and so that we have to take a step. Well, that's right, you do, because they can't, or can't sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, or enough of them can't that they can't, that we can keep them away from women for a while, and that's okay. I mean, that there's enough of a reason to let women have their own spaces without men in them, I think that, I mean, I agree. In today's world, this is a confusing case. What does sex discrimination mean in 2021? Because I don't know how they'd keep men out anyway. If the man just said they identified as a woman, what would they do?
They'd go in. Yes, this is a full of holes, I guess, rule or thing.
And at the same time, it's something that we all know is true, that it absolutely does impact women to have them in the gym with them.
Right. And so I got some, I found different women with all sorts of different opinions.
I think that it's important that people get to feel comfortable wherever they want to work out or they want to spend their time. So if somebody's more comfortable being around all females, I think it's really important that we value that as an opinion.
Fine. If they're comfortable being with all females, I think that's fine. But then again, you're not allowed to have the men-only gym.
You should be able to also.
Right.
Has there ever been a time where you felt uncomfortable working out in the presence of the opposite gender?
For me, no. Sometimes I admire the male. They encourage me to maybe put more effort. So,
yeah, not uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's a different problem. But I heard a lot of that. Like the two things men do are hit on women straight up, or try to tell them how to do an exercise better, which is probably just another form of hitting on them.
Yeah, but it's also annoying in its own
right.
way.
Yeah, which you don't need. That's also like in your personal space kind of thing. But so then I found this dude called Bradley Martin.
Okay.
This jarhead guy who's got his own YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
So he's at the gym, and he decides to, and he's got a bunch of these, hit on girls at the gym.
Mm-hmm.
So he does it under the guise of, and this is like elementary 101 hitting on.
Okay.
He does it under the guise of asking women, letting them, thinking out loud to them about the best way to hit on women at the gym. So that way he's not really, it's a hypothetical, which is very, he's cloaked essentially. What's that called? The Romulans thing, the Romulan ship that could cloak itself.
I don't know.
The Romulans, the Romulans, they have a ship that cloaks itself. You don't know?
I don't know.
Or is that the Klingon ship? Somebody will let us know. I'm sure. If
Okay, good.
If there's a Trekkie, they're already offended. So listen to this guy.
What? Two girls over here. We're going to talk to them. Hitting on girls in the gym. We're going to go talk
right now.
Some questions. Yeah, right now.
You don't want to plan this out? Just go.
Never met them. Don't know them. Serious questions.
What's up?
Obviously, this is not the right way to approach women in the gym. I wanted to ask you your opinion, both of you guys.
Judge of that.
Okay. This is for sure not the right way.
This is not the right way.
Not the right way.
Yeah, this sucks. This is how not to. This honestly sucks. I'm out of breath and you're talking to me and I'm out of breath, so.
Damn.
So wait for them to be done.
I'm burning more calories though because it could be the right way. I think we're activating your abs.
So wait, I'm helping them burn calories.
Maybe activating my abs more. Maybe that should be a pickup line. Yeah.
Be like,
hey, let me help you with your workout. Let me help you not breathe.
Let me bug
Let me force you to talk to me.
Then what's the best way to approach a girl in the gym? If not like this.
Honestly,
because this is not the right way, guys. Definitely not.
Doing squats or something like heavy. If you want to help me put the weight on.
Really?
Or take it off.
I've never heard that. I have never. Are you serious?
Yeah. Be a gentleman and because it's heavy. It's hard to maneuver stuff when we want to lift heavy. See how a girl feels if they're okay,
She's like,
yeah. But it's yeah, it's a nice way to do it.
I feel like that's so mixed because you're gonna have a bunch of guys now going up to girls and it might creep them out.
He's just doing research here.
Take notes. Honestly, the best thing you can do is go up to them and be like, yo, I think you're cute at the end of the day, and give them your number. And
when are these not the best spokesmen for feminism, Alice, that you think?
I don't know.
Do the casual, like, hey, I saw you working out. I think you're bomb. If you want, get my Instagram. They're gonna look at your Instagram. If they press follow, they go to a picture. They're probably gonna like one. If they do that, then you give them your number. There's like levels. And they want you
on Instagram.
They want you for you or maybe for no.
For you or for cloud? Let's go.
So you
Or for both.
For you or the cloud? What does that mean?
Clout.
Oh, clout?
Yeah.
What does that mean? I know what the
Because
word
they want
means.
more Instagram followers.
Oh. Oh my God. So what is
So
it?
maybe they'll just relish the attention for their Instagram fandom, even if they don't want to date you.
That's that important to lay people who aren't in media? Instagram followers?
I mean, I think to some people.
Man, this isn't. We're not bringing our best. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, I don't know. This is a foreign country to me, so I don't really know. But
So you bombing. So there you go. So we'll see.
I think it also depends. I hate to say this. I mean, this is a point that's been made before. This isn't an Alice original, but I think it probably depends what you look like as a guy.
Yes. Yes.
If you come up to women and you say, "Hey, saw you working out. I think you're bomb," and give them your number, I think probably the reactions to that are going to vary a bit depending on your personal appearance and demeanor.
Well, I mean, if I had my shirt off, I think they'd be fine with me saying that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, and that's another unspoken thing, of course, is that really it depends on, for every approach to ladies, it really depends on how good looking you are.
Yeah, and I mean, and other stuff like confidence and,
right.
But in general, like, I don't know, I'm just not personally a big fan of being approached by random strangers. I find it a little disconcerting.
Right.
Personally. That's my personal opinion. But, you know, like I've told you before, and you were like mad at me, but like one time I was taking the train in Boston and I like got off the train and this guy followed me off the train to ask me out that I'd never seen before in my life and was like, "Hey, I think you're really beautiful. Do you want to go out?" And I was and that's like scary because you don't know. Like, am I going to end up in a dumpster somewhere? Like, why did this guy just follow me?
Is that the psycho approach? I don't know. I mean, in movies, that works sometimes.
Wow, I think you're beautiful.
It matters in the delivery. I mean,
I don't know. I find it scary.
I like to slow follow in a parking structure at night with wearing clicky heels.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I just
yeah.
Also, if you've ever worked retail and so you feel that you can't escape a situation because
you have to
be there in the store and you can't leave, and a lot of times working retail in like smaller establishments you're like alone, so some dude is in there and being like, "So when do you get off work?" You're like, "Oh my God."
Well, I assume that's usually like the mall security guy too. Who's like working around.
Please,
yeah, I knew a total
away.
loser who was like 20 years old who was so enamored that the girls at Victoria's Secret would talk to him about lingerie. He was a big loser. You don't know him, don't worry. I don't know what happened to him else. He died somewhere, unfortunately.
Okay.
Got hit by Skylab.
Yeah, so maybe just never approach women at all. Maybe
That's Whew, okay, a little too close to home. All right, so let's move away from this and go to my favorite. We don't have any TikToks, I don't think, today. Did we play them all yesterday? Well, there's my guy in the Wegmans.
There's your guy.
Okay,
yeah.
This is my guy in the Wegmans. This guy is certainly an a-hole. I don't know necessarily if he'll be hitting on the ladies at the treadmill. I don't know.
I don't think he will.
I don't know what you base that on.
I think he's already allowed into all the areas where he can
I don't know what
people.
that means at all, but I distance myself from it. I do condemn it. Here we go. So he sees, of course, because every progressive guy wants to be a militarist. What's that when you're mean to women?
Misogynist?
Yes, misogynist. That's right. It's Thursday after a long week, Alice. I'm missing a lot. Here he is. He sees a woman. He's in the Wegmans, and the best thing in the world that he could happen to him, I'm sure he waited there 17 hours. Finally, he sees a woman without a mask, and to work he goes.
Hi, yep, right here. right there. No mask. Right there. There we go. Candid camera. There we go. I want you to know that your insensitivity is...
What was that word?
Insensitivity.
Are you sure? I think he's got one extra syllable in there.
ridiculous. I no longer have grandparents due to this virus because of people like you.
They must have been thinking, on the bad side is I'm going to be expired soon. The good side, I don't have to see our idiot grandson anymore.
Who don't want to wear a mask in the store. It's ridiculous, actually. It's insensitive and it's disgusting as a human being for you to show so much privilege to all of these people. There are so many older people in here who have health conditions, other people.
And I'm not going to just...
Oh, great. Oh, whoop-de-doo. Congratulations for your pregnancy. It's ridiculous. And I want you to know that. You're on candid camera, and I want you to know that. 4K. Thanks.
There you go. Al says your guy. Congratulations.
Congratulations on your pregnancy.
Hey, what is that? What is that affectation? I don't know what it is. I don't like it.
I don't know.
So there you go. There's that guy right there. And I don't. So
once again, not approaching a dude. Mm-hmm. Bruce Willis has not worn a mask in stores on occasion. He's not approaching anyone who looks like Bruce Willis to let them know that they need to put a mask on and tell them they're disgusting. He's approaching a petite pregnant woman to tell her she's disgusting. So,
and accusing her of murder.
Mm-hmm. Murdering his grandparents for some reason, which I don't know how she managed to kill them. But, I can imagine that potentially being pregnant and having to wear a mask it could be extremely uncomfortable.
Sure.
Since it affects one's breathing.
But they don't stop. He has had enough of it, and so there is.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is about these guys. What's he gonna do when this is all over? Well, if he acknowledges it's all over, where does that energy go to? To exposing people and calling people out, because that's a personality defect.
I think it's going to continue to be about this for the foreseeable future because I think there is a section of the population that cannot let this go. I think there are, and, in our area up in Massachusetts, and if that's a Wegmans, I know they're in, a lot of New York and stuff, right? Mainly Wegmans? We have some
from
here,
New York,
too.
I
But
think,
But they're probably mostly in bluer areas of the country, I would guess. I'm not 100% sure, but, in our area, there are a lot of people that are not going to let people around them stop wearing masks anytime soon without harassment.
Yeah.
Look at Brookline won't lift their mask mandate, even though the CDC said outdoors, even though Charlie Baker said outdoors is okay, even though Fauci says it's common sense, and they've been saying it all along. He said recently that the outdoors is very low risk. Brookline won't lift the mask mandate. I think probably Cambridge and other places are the same with the outdoor. It's unbelievable. They cannot let it go. So, our school system already told us masks are still going to be required this fall.
That sucks. It sucks that we're doing it in baseball and softball.
Yeah.
What are we doing
4
here?
months away, and there's more people being vaccinated every day. And we're vaccinating another % of the population every day, and we're already more than half. I think we have 70% of adults with at least one shot now in Massachusetts. So what are we doing exactly here? It's getting to a point where it's ridiculous. Our positivity rate is dropping. We're down to 1 now, 1% positivity on the test. It's this is going away. This is done, but there are going to be a whole bunch of people who are going to continue to pretend that they're in a pandemic for another year.
Yeah, or some maybe forever. The fact that you've got people so pathetically worried about dying. And I know that nobody wants to. You don't want to die. That's fine. But there is something about demonstrating a desperate need to not be harmed. At any cost. That's just such a bad look. To me, it just looks so dishonorable.
Yeah, and I think it's also just purely cultural and a purity issue. Right? It's pure signaling and saying I'm pure, I'm good.
I'm a devout.
Right. And,
Yeah.
you know, and there's no, beyond that, it's not really about dying anymore. The risks are impossibly low. You know, if you really were that worried about dying, you would never get in a car again, because that's the type of risk that we're talking about from, you know, maskless people walking near you outside. So it's not really a fear of dying. Like, you're not going to die from that.
Yes,
It's purely just about you need to show that you care about other people.
And I guess that explains why they always say, I'm not wearing it for me, I'm wearing it for you.
Mm-hmm.
That just shows you, that sets the rules of the game.
Mm-hmm.
That, see, I'm taking a step, a physical step for you, ellipsis.
Right.
Thus, it only makes sense, if you want to be my moral equivalent, that you take the same step for me.
Right. It's creating a relationship with random strangers by which they owe you something. And that's, I mean, like, that's a level of intimacy I don't want with all these
Psychos.
people.
Psychos.
But that's what it is. And that it really just needs to stop by absolutely normalizing not wearing masks. So, I mean, I understand when you're coaching, you feel the need to. I'm volunteering at the snack shack today. I'll be wearing a mask in the snack shack because I'm volunteering at the snack shack and it's required. I am ashamed, but I'm going to do it for the hour while I'm in the snack shack. But every situation where you're not obligated by some outside force to follow the rules, people need to not follow the rules. Every store you go into, every, you know, baseball game that you're just attending as a parent and standing outside at, you need to not follow the rules, because the only way this ever changes is if enough people are doing it that everybody lightens up.
Right.
Like, you can only cure people of this by exposure to normalcy.
Totally agree.
You can't, and like, because they're never going to believe it unless, like, it just, who knows, maybe they still won't believe it. I don't know. Because, you know, I'll say it to people when they're like, well, you know, just to be safe. And I'm like, Florida and Texas have had no mask mandate in now months, and everybody's fine. And they're like, well, good, they'll all die there. And I'm like, no, but they're not actually all dying there. Like, so, but it doesn't matter, because then it's just like, well, Ron DeSantis just made up all the numbers, so there you go. Okay, well, if at that point we're just not in reality, and that's as crazy a conspiracy theory as, you know, as anybody who thinks QAnon is real or thinks that, like, the CDC made up all the COVID death numbers from nothing or anything else. Like, they're just equally as crazy. Like, if you think Ron DeSantis is cooking the books in Florida, there's just not a mechanism for that. It's not possible.
Right.
Then you might as well.
But Cuomo was not at all cooking the books in New York. You know, they were celebrating him, and they still do.
Yeah.
They still do celebrate him. No, Cuomo did it right. Cuomo did it right. Cuomo did it right. Psychos. Let's see how the infrastructure bill is coming along, Alice.
Let me just tell you the way I define infrastructure. One of my definitions is the things you just need to get where you need to go.
She's in charge of that. She's also in charge of the, let's see what happens.
I like that.
Here.
That's a very...
Whoop, sorry. Stop. It's going to stop in a second. Don't worry about it.
Let's talk about the border.
This is Kamala Harris about the border. Of course, she's in charge of the southern border, as you know.
Let's talk about the border. President Biden has tasked you with working on the root causes of the migrant crisis.
Yeah.
That's not what he originally tasked her with.
No.
He tasked her with fixing the kids in cages problem at the border. But now the media has gotten their marching orders, and they are now saying the question that she wants to get.
I listened to the speech you gave yesterday, and the issues you were talking about, corruption, climate change, they sound like they might take a generation to fix. How do you see that fitting into fixing the acute short-term crisis at the border?
That's a good question, because all those kids are going to be 30 by the time anything else is fixed.
So I have been asked by the president, and I have taken charge of what we need to do to recognize that there are the issues at the border that need to be addressed, and the Secretary of Health and Human Services, Javier Becerra, and the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, Alexandro Mayorkas, is dealing with that.
So, good luck. Good luck.
She can almost even remember the names of all the people who are supposed to be in charge of the actual border crisis now. So, and you'll see also they're bandying about these statistics of how Biden's reduced the number of kids in Border Patrol custody now so much. There's only 600 kids left in Border Patrol custody. Isn't that amazing, honey? So see what happens when you have competent people in charge who are compassionate and do the right thing. See, the only problem with that is that now all the kids who are in Border Patrol custody are in HHS or FEMA custody.
Right.
So there's
It's a
now
shell game with kids.
There are 20,000 kids in
Yes.
HHS custody, but only 600 in Border Patrol custody. So we've solved the problem. Everything's fixed.
There are the issues at the border that need to be addressed, and the Secretary of Health and Human Services, Javier Becerra, and the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, Alexandro Mayorkas, is dealing with that.
Good. So glad they're on it. Great. Perfect.
Do I want to play this AOC? Alice, this is going to make me mad. Is it something especially stupid?
It's medium stupid.
I don't know. Tess Holiday, Alice. I've never known who this person is. Who is she?
She is the first size 22 supermodel.
The person I'm seeing now here, named Tess Holiday, is called a supermodel.
Yes. She's the first size 22 supermodel.
But doesn't a supermodel have to attract the attention of people through something called beauty? Right?
What are you trying to say about her, honey?
I'm saying that she's one of mine, Alice.
Well, some people like that.
Not enough people. You get a random you once in every few million people. Not everybody's a chubby chaser, Alice. I would say that she is. What did she say? I'm anorexic and in recovery.
Yes.
That can't
so
be her
she
who said
came
that.
out. She came out this week and let us know that she's in recovery from anorexia.
She can't say that. That is trolling. You can't say that.
And everybody is applauding because it's so important to point out that anorexia knows no body type. It can strike
How's it going?
anyone.
There's no way. Yeah, no.
Anorexia can strike anyone of any body shape and size, and it's a dangerous illness that needs to be addressed among all people.
I can't play this game anymore. I'm going to click off this. Slink away. Go to the gym and tell people they're bombing. Is it bombing?
They're bomb.
Oh, yeah, you're bomb.
I think you're bomb.
I think you're bomb.
You think Tess Holiday is bomb.
I think you're bomb. Should we do the AOC thing? I don't want to make you people upset.
I thought people kind of liked AOC.
Okay.
There was a thing going around recently
AOC.
where it
What's
was
the Joe
like,
Biden thing with Amtrak?
So he had been telling a story about how this Amtrak conductor congratulated him for how many miles he got something where he had gone so many miles on Amtrak, and the Amtrak conductor came and told him how great it was and congratulated him. But it turns out the guy had been retired for like 20 years at the point in time where
that's
Biden...
very Biden. That's standard garden variety Biden. It's not even worth it. Yeah. That is what he is known for.
I don't think that the deficit is the most important thing.
Wow, that's a shock to hear. Really? The author of the Green New Deal doesn't think the deficit is important? I am shocked, because that seems so deficit neutral.
Hinging our infrastructure and jobs plan on. I think it's not the deficit. It's things like employment. It's things like our poverty rate in the United States, or rather unemployment as well. We should be pegging this to the actual material circumstances that we want to measure ourselves against in improving people's lot in this country. You know, when we talk about the deficit and Republicans are playing hardball here, you know, I didn't see them being this concerned when they passed the 2017 tax scam that not only added trillions of dollars to our deficit, but also...
I want to get to this tax scam. thing that they say. One,
I enjoyed the tax
right?
quite a
yes,
bit.
it benefited us certainly.
Mm-hmm.
And also the Reagan top marginal tax rate cut took some years to really become truly fruitful.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but I mean, 2019 was the best economy this country's had.
Exactly. So, and people are saying this, and I've heard Republicans say this too. If you look at GDP days and this, and also another thing,
Mm-hmm.
a budget item, as in $1 trillion in wind farms, is a little different than allowing a corporation or human being to keep their own money that they earn.
Well, right. So here's my thing, is in a sense, I agree with her. The deficit is not everything. The deficit, in some ways, almost doesn't matter because not all deficits are created equal. Because the deficit is just the difference between the amount that you spend and the amount that you take from people in taxes. So I'm not for minimizing the deficit in and of itself because you can tax people a whole bunch and spend a bunch of money and you have no deficit, right? That's what Biden wants to do in his plans that he needs to pass. And as a matter of fact, he needs to pass them in a pretty deficit neutral way because the way reconciliation works, they have to be bills that don't, after a certain number of years impact the deficit.
Right.
So he has to pass them with raised taxes. I'm still against that because what I'm against is not the deficit in some abstract sense. I'm against taking people's money and spending it on stupid stuff, which I think is really the point. You can give people more of their money back. I don't care if that raises the deficit. I'd like to see you also cut the spending, as a matter of fact. But I want spending and taxes to go down. And I mean, if that decreases the deficit, great. But you can also decrease the deficit by having taxes and spending both go up. And I'm against that. So the deficit isn't really the point at the end of the day. It's about taking people's money and redistributing it into stupid boondoggles for all their green energy friends and stuff, or whatever it is that we're doing this week. The electric vehicle car charging stations. Freaking ridiculous.
Alice! Did you swear?
I said freaking ridiculous.
Okay. My goodness. The hell's got
Although I did yell at the kids today for saying freaking. So.
Oh, the other one has upgraded to the F word. Anson has graduated to the F word.
I know. So I told him today not to say the F word, and then he started saying freaking, and I said, you can't say that
Well,
either.
why can't they use the substance? What's wrong with freaking?
He's 5. He can't say freaking this, freaking
he used
that. What
the real F word with some aplomb yesterday. He sounded like he had been saying that for a long time. He apparently has been absorbing his mother's...
at church camp, your oldest son at church camp learned a whole bunch of new words.
Like what? Don't say it. Just...
well, in the way home, in the car, on the 10-hour drive back, he called me a mother effer. So that
in what context?
I forget what I did to earn that appellation.
Well, it must have
at
been
the time,
something pretty damn
yes. So
egregious.
So yes. So that was the takeaway from church camp, I guess.
Drug makers on Thursday said U.S. President Biden's support for waiving patents of COVID-19 vaccines could disrupt a fragile supply chain and that rich countries should instead share more generously with the developing world. This is historically moronic that Biden's going to release the patents or is going to compel these people to do it.
Mm-hmm. Well, not only is it a slap in the face to these companies that in record time came out with these vaccines and essentially are going to end the pandemic here within the next few months while, it rages in other parts of the world, including the ones that have like the Chinese vaccine, for example, that does virtually nothing. Not only is it a big slap in the face to them, all their stocks took a big hit today from this news. Not only that, it's not even clear it's going to be effective because mRNA vaccines in particular are very, very difficult to make. They require a lot of specialized equipment, a lot of, specialized components. They need to be kept at very specific temperatures. It's complicated. And when they say that it's going to disrupt the supply chain, what they mean is that there are things about, having enough syringes and manufacturing vials and all this stuff that goes into this that are complicated. And the process of making mRNA vaccines is much more difficult than a typical vaccine. There's a reason that we have been able to do it here and other places have not been able to do it. And that is because of the expertise in the drug manufacturing we have here. And that's because we pay top dollar for this stuff. But look at the problems around the world with vaccine distribution that some of these places are having. It's because we have the expertise in this country and they don't. It is not clear that permitting people in India to make these
take
vaccines,
a shot at making the vaccine,
right, is going to actually result in effective vaccines being manufactured in India.
Not only is it not clear that the vaccines will be effective, they could be deadly.
Right, and we could make McDonald's release the exact recipe for making a Big Mac, but
if I was president, I would.
But it's not going to mean that everybody in America is going to be able to make Big Macs as well as McDonald's
Right. Well,
does.
there are elves involved in that. But and also just the spirit of the thing. We asked these guys to partner with us for Operation Warp Speed in this incredible push, a wartime effort,
right?
And for their trouble, they get screwed by this donkey in the White House,
right? I mean, and very soon we are going to be in a position to donate a lot of vaccines. Right. We are going to be awash in vaccines that nobody wants to take anymore because we are going to have run out of people who want to take them. I mean, already in Massachusetts, they're now opening up all the mass vaccination sites to walk-ins. So it's literally just you find out where one is and show up.
Right.
That's it. So I saw somebody online today talking about trying to get their vaccine appointment. They're like, yes, I got one for May 20th. And I didn't really, it was one of those things that I saw on my Twitter feed that like scrolled away before I could really see what the deal was. But I was thinking like, where is this person located that they're 3 weeks away from being able to get a vaccine? I don't know what's going on. What do you mean May 20th?
Yeah.
Like you can walk into one tomorrow. I don't get it. But
you can walk into them tomorrow. And in fact, Americans are just about sated.
Yeah, we're
vaccines.
Just about out of
We're
people
done.
who want
We're
it.
pushing away from the table now. We've had our share of the vaccine.
Well, that's why they're pushing to open it up to kids now, because there are a bunch of vaccine-enthused people that want their kids to get the vaccine who aren't eligible yet. So, that'll give you another little bump in the vaccine numbers if you can open it up to kids and let the people that are all excited about getting their kids vaccinated get their kids vaccinated. You'll have another little, but that's even fewer people than are excited to get the vaccine.
Do the casual like, hey, I saw you working out. I think you're bomb. If you want, get my Instagram. They're gonna look at your Instagram. If they press follow, you go to a picture. They're probably gonna like one. If they do that, then you give them your number. There's like levels, and they want you
on Instagram.
They want you for you or maybe for no.
All right, Alice, I'm about to call it a day here, a week, if that works for you, unless you've got more housekeeping to do here. It is time for baseball.
It's time for baseball. I'm going to be in the snack shack with my mask on until I'm liberated from service.
Come on over to the baseball field. You guys, thank you so much. You guys bomb?
They are bomb.
Oh, yes, you guys are bomb?
They are bomb.
Thank you so much. DM me on Insta. I'll just do it for the clout. All right?
Good. Yes, Tom wants the clout on his Insta.
Great week. Do follow my Substack if you can. You don't have to pay for it. Does this one cost money?
This one costs money.
Okay, this one costs money, but some of them don't.
Yeah, we do at least one a week. That's free.
Okay, that's great. That's good. And you'll get to see if you subscribe, you'll get to see the young lady who said you guys bomb. You guys are bomb. You guys are bomb.
No, they said I saw you working out and I think you're bomb.
Okay.
That's what she recommended he say to her.
You will see her say that. As a matter of fact, I've got the video in there embedded, and there's a chance that you can DM her on Insta. Thank you so much, everybody. Another great week. I really appreciate it. I'm on WTIC tomorrow, which is for us now Friday, at 9 anti-meridian till 12 noon, if you want to join me there as well. We really appreciate all your support, and sayonara.
This has been, as Tom mentioned, the Burn Barrel Podcast. He's Tom Shattuck. I'm Alice Shattuck. We are on Twitter at Burn Barrel Pod and also burnbarrelpodcast.com. You can also check us out on Facebook. facebook.com/burnbarrelpodcast or on Gab or Parler at Burn Barrel Podcast. We have an email address that's burnbarrelpodcast@gmail.com, and you can check out our YouTube channel Tom Shattuck's Burn Barrel. I can't talk when you do that.